And as a matter of concern, I mean, it's been reported all week long, the issue of drought and its impact on farmlands, as well as farming and the crops that are being farmed. And it's quite worrying. I am scared because, like I was saying to Api earlier, there's a danger this portends regarding food security in this country. I am not certain how much of a buffer we have, how much food crops we have saved or stored.
Yeah.
And even if we've been able to store some, what condition
are they in right now?
Now? And will it be enough if we should have a situation of famine on our hands? No one is predicting doom, but this is the situation that we have. Climate change is having such an impact on us as a people, and we don't seem to be putting in the mitigating measures.
Right.
And so it brings about, I mean, it poses a lot of threats, regarding food security.
I feel like even before we even put the whole mitigation, processes on the side, I think it's important that people actually understand what climate change is. I think a lot of people do not understand. And if we talk about climate change, I think the whole talk about climate change is on this level. It's certain people that understand it, that are hearing about it. And some of those certain people do not even believe it.
That's true.
Because when we talk about climate change, there's a group that says, oh, it's propaganda.
Exactly.
And there's a group that says, oh, it's, it's really happening. We can see it. So, yeah, apart from the level of people that are, getting this information, I think the whole information is supposed to come down.
It should trickle down.
Trickle down, because let's look at it. Who are the real farmers? Forget we young ones that are coming up now, or the very wealthy that are going into farming and have everything, in place. Who are the real farmers? Who are the ones doing the real work? Those ones, I think, really even need to understand what climate change is.
So, I mean, if based on what you're saying, if the understanding gets down to that local farmer, they would know when to plant, when to harvest.
Exactly.
You get it? Because now there are typical crop seasons or farming seasons in the country. But due to the impact of climate change, this cannot be business as usual.
At all.
Some changes need to be made. People need to alter their farming techniques, farming styles, and farming times.
And even what to plant.
What to plant, exactly.
Yes, because it's like certain plants can do well during the drought.
Yes.
And certain plants can do well during the drought.
Exactly. And
so you should know, like, there should be a system.
Yeah.
When you understand it, you know, okay, by this time we're supposed to plant this, because by this time there's no more rain.
Yeah, that's true. You see, I mean, even if you're not getting it right, you should know by now that rainfall patterns have changed.
Exactly.
I mean, there are years that we are recording long periods of rainfall, and other periods, it's very short. It could rain for about 20 minutes, but very heavily.
True.
And so the whole place gets flooded.
True.
Or it could rain for about 3 hours and it's just showers.
Yeah.
You don't see anything.
Yeah. And the ironic thing about this whole situation of climate change is, 1 minute you think it's going to rain at your place, and it's not going to rain at your, rather it's raining at somewhere else and flooding at somewhere else.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, I mean, this education should be going round and should be going down to the people that actually need it the most. I keep saying that we throw out policies and throw it out there for the sake of throwing it out there. But policies should be targeted. You get it? There are people who actually need those policies better than others.
True.
It's a good policy, but blanketing it may not yield the results you're looking for. You should target it. And so if we're going to put out the education regarding climate change and its impacts, who should be your #1 target?
True, the farmers.
The farmers who need...
The farmers.
I mean, they depend on the seasons for their livelihood, which is farming. And so if rainfall patterns are changing and you want to educate people on rainfall patterns, yes, there are people who need it to plan and schedule their lives to avoid being beaten by the rains or to avoid flooding and all that. But then there are those who are growing food for us to consume. And so they need that information, and it should be readily available to them.
Yeah, because actually this also affects the local economy. If we look at it, this actually really affects the local economy, because if we cannot produce food for ourselves, that means we're going to start importing food.
Yeah. And you see, it's so much of a headache, right? Imagine you, I mean, going through the nursery stage, your seeds germinating, And at that point, all the tender and care is needed, all the attention. So going through all that stress to have your seeds germinated at the nursery stage, and then you go ahead to plant on the field, and before you know it, there's drought.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you are heavily dependent on rainfall.
Rain, right.
You have a rain-fed farming system,
right.
not an irrigation farming system.
Yeah, that also brings me to the thought of it's time that they also find other ways of feeding the plants.
Exactly.
I mean, it's 2020, it's 2024. People are using different sorts of ways to feed their plants. The irrigation system is that there are different type of irrigation systems. Do you understand? Yeah. So if we say we are only depending on rain, I think it's a bit problematic.
It is.
We should have gone past that, because that used to be the way that we do it in those days. That is what you even do in your homes. Do you understand? Sometimes with some plants.
So what if it doesn't rain the whole year? What if there's a dry spell throughout the entire year?
They never
what do you do?
They probably not eat.
And it beats my imagination because we have a Ghana Irrigation Development Authority. There's so much water in the Akosombo Lake. Recently, we saw the spillage of the Akosombo Dam and the devastation that came afterwards. So sometimes, I mean, it's, well, we cannot sit here and pretend to know better than they do.
Exactly.
But we hope that they are paying mind to some of these issues and putting in measures to address them. Anyways, we have a report.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll take a look at that report from my colleague and, of course, our Bono regional correspondent, Michael Sapon Infum, regarding the type of emotional stress farmers are going through as a result of dry spells.
A severe drought has devastated crops across the 12 municipal and district assemblies in the Bono region, with Bofokrom in the Sunyani West municipality being one of the hardest hit areas. The drought has destroyed several acres of maize, pepper, and other crops, leaving farmers in distress. Many have abandoned their farms, unable to bear the sight of their withered crops. The affected farmers are counting their losses. Martin Nuharu, a 45-year-old farmer and a 2016 Sunyani West municipal best farmer, has seen his 50-acre maize farm severely affected by the rains.
So, what do you help you pray? No pray. See a prayer, doy. Be a ye. In fact, I wish I boy, I did my whom can I be fast war. I bet you. Say, a share you how powerful. Is your grandma brother can maybe 50 acres. It's here bruning in our say. Whom can I be fast? It's a must have dog. At 10 acres, I so can be and so toyaka sabri. Come a dear brun so soon and talk. They say, "Quan bear, I be fast war. Why I be fast war, when you could ID. My money will say, Bear, position, I mean, Sanko boy, say, position, I'm a boy, cram, and to yet. Namakase, me Sanko Bobby. I say, you know, he say, Yamwa. Say, buy a moya, and you say, any money, who dear, every day."
Two other farmers shared their experiences with the drought.
I have about 3 different farms, and one is 8 acres, another one is 7.5 acres, and I have also 4 acres farm. So in all together, I have about 18 or 19 acres of farm. Because of the drought, my products have been destroyed. For the maize, if you are into farming and you plant your seedlings and you had no rain, you can imagine the cost that and the damage that will be happen. For about 2 months now, I have not been to the farm because if I get there, maybe I can collapse or a lot can happen to me.
Or how do you be brave? Say you're not by any say. Me say me makwa my dear say because of that in Tinokrana food.
Right, so these are the stark realities of the farmers in these areas and the loss they are incurring as a result of the dry spells in these areas. And it's so much of a stress for them. Like I was saying, you nurture your crops, you go out and plant, and then there's nothing. You understand? You know, the GMET, the Ghana Meteorological Agency, has actually predicted a longer dry spell this year in our transition zones. So from the middle belt to certain parts of the north, it's going to be very dry for a period. And so the farmers are at a loss at this point.
And that's made me smile because, not smiling in a good way, like, okay, the GMET had already predicted it. So what did we do when the GMET predicted it?
You see, we don't
we
pay
are not
attention
proactive.
to weather,
Do you understand?
warnings.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
Nobody believes. Oh, it's a lie. It doesn't happen. You know, because nobody believes the institute. That it's like you take that institute as a joke.
Yeah.
But they're actually telling us this is what is going to happen.
Yeah.
And what did we do after that?
Yeah.
What did you as a farmer do after that? Or did the information even reach them?
Exactly.
Even as a farmer, even as a local farmer, I think it's...
You should be interested in knowing
it's very
what the weather
important
is on a daily basis.
True. You might say, okay, they are not so educated, but look, this is your business. This is what feeds your family.
Yeah.
This is what feeds the people around you. Like the first farmer said, he actually had to take out a loan, you know, to invest in his farm, and right now he's grappling on how to pay it back.
Yeah. Let's go over the phone lines and speak to our colleague, Michael Sapon-Infum. He reports from the Bono area. He filed that report, and so he can give us a better understanding of what the actual situation is. Good morning, Michael, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Nana.
I trust you're well.
Yes, Nana.
Right. So help us understand, give us a picture of how widespread the situation regarding the dry spell is and its impact on farming in the area.
Thank you very much, Nana. The Sunyani West Municipality is a hub of agriculture. From Sunyani West, you know, it connects with Wenchi Municipality. So that stretch is noted for maize cultivation. A lot of farmers are in near parts of the Bono region. And Nana, it's very serious. The farmer I spoke to, he was a 2016 municipal best farmer.
Right.
And 50 acres of his maize is affected. And a lot of farmers in the area. And Nana, the climate change that we talked about is very serious. But as you said, when you talk about climate change, people think it's people that have gotten their whatever. But this is real. 50 acres of maize farm. You can imagine the amount that has gone in. And these farmers too, they are not able to access loans. So they go to private organizations to get the loans, and you can imagine the interest rate on them. So you take it, you grow your farm, and then next year you pay, then you can go in for another loan. It's very serious, and I can imagine what will happen in the coming year, because you know maize, we use maize for so many things, banku, kenke, whatever you can think of. And if the hub of maize cultivation is affected in this way, you can imagine. Apart from maize, they cultivate other food crops as well. So before Chrome Enclave, in Kwadum and other adjoining communities, I don't know. It's very serious, and I don't know what could be done to help these farmers. I believe, I'm hoping that maybe government may come on board to help them in a way, because it's very serious. No.
All right. So, Michael, when you look at them, or after speaking to them, do you think they understand climate change?
I can't say much about it, but you know, the assembly member has said that he's advising them to plant trees as well, because you see that I'm told years ago that area used to have a lot of trees, but as part of the farming activities, they cut them down. And I believe I can't say whether they know much about climate change. I can't tell on authority, but I believe as we are moving ahead, the Agric Ministry and who is ever in charge, to help educate them. The assembly member said that you can even travel for kilometers, you will not see trees, and he believes that might also contribute to this drought that we are seeing and experiencing this year.
But clearly, they've seen the changes in weather patterns, and so how are they adapting to this? How are they changing their farming styles based on the change in weather patterns?
Yeah, Nana, you know, this season would have been the major season. But poor rains where they know. Even I'm told even in April they had only 2 rains. That was the peak of the farming season in a major season. So moving forward to the minor, I don't know how they are going to survive. If the major season, the rains did not come, how about the minor season? Maybe we're only crossing our arms to see what will happen in the coming months. Really, it's going to affect the country because if the people from Accra come to Dumasi, there's a big market, maize market at Dumasi. That's the capital of the Sunyani West municipality. Even people from across the country, every year they come to buy maize to other parts of the country. So I don't know how they are going to survive and what plans they have moving into the minor season, Nana.
Yes, but in speaking with these farmers, what options do they say are available to them at this point? Because clearly they have secured loans from financial institutions to embark on the farming as they have done. However, the expected yield clearly is not what they are going to get. So what options do they say are available to them at this point?
Yeah, when I spoke to them, what they are saying is that they need support from government. That is what is left for them. Support from government so that at least to help them in midway to able to survive, and also, I don't know what could be done to help them, but they are relaxing and also hoping that government may come on board to support them.
All right. So when you say support from government, is it support to help them as in feed their family, or support to help them with, systems on how to, help their farming? Because obviously it seems like they only depend on the rain and they don't know any other types of ways to help their agricultural business.
The support cuts across financial support and maybe also seedlings to plant in coming the minor season. Because as we speak, the major season is over and the yields they don't do well. When the yields are okay, that's where they're able to get some of the seed to keep for the next minor season. But the yields did not do well. So the support they are calling for cut across financial and also inputs in their farming activities.
Okay.
I was going to come to that, and it's important or interesting that you mentioned it because I know that once they embark on the major farming season, they save seeds from the yield they get to embark on the minor one. So in the absence of this, they are not even going to harvest enough to sell off. So how do they plan to embark on the minor cropping season?
Yes, so that is it. That's why they are calling for the support, both financial and maybe support from the Agri Ministry on the seeds and other inputs that they need for the mining, in which they are hoping that maybe the rains may come compared to what has passed. So that's what they are hoping for now.
Right. Finally, is there an association of farmers in the area that will be able to engage some of these financial institutions? Because obviously losses have been incurred. I'm not sure how they intend paying back the loans.
Yes, the loans, the farmers took them individually.
Right.
Not in groups. So maybe, I can't tell an authority, but I believe as they are moving forward, I know the ministry also, with this broadcast, I know the Ministry of Agri in the Bono region will also be coming on board to see what they will do to help these affected farmers. Because it's a vast area. The Sunyani West municipality shares boundary with even Wenchi and even Tyne district. So you can imagine the stretch, the area.
Exactly.
So a lot of farmers have been affected, and it's very serious.
Right. Thank you very much. Michael Sapon Infum is our Bono regional correspondent, and he filed that report. And in that report, you're able to tell the type of emotional stress that the farmers are going through, having secured loans to embark on farming. Mind you, this is the major cropping season, but being hit with this challenge of dry spells, the drought, and of course their crops getting destroyed on the farms. They are at a loss, one, as to how to repay the loans, two, as to how much of a yield they are going to have, how much of a harvest they are going to have in order to sell some, and even to save some for the next cropping season. So it's quite devastating, the impact of this dry spell. And like we established earlier, it comes back to us, all right? Because we're not paying attention to weather warnings. We're not changing our ways of farming. We're not, I've been applying research to our farming methods. And so we are stuck in our ways, doing the same old thing. I don't think we are even transitioning properly from subsistence farming to commercial farming.
True.
And so clearly we'll always be hit with some of these challenges. And it's quite worrying. I mean, if you go into the daily graphic this morning, about 1.18 billion Ghana cedis of agricultural investment is in danger of being lost. And that is what the graphic is reporting, because this is how much farmers in our transition zones from the middle belt, so all the way from the BA area, Sunyane, going all the way up into the northern parts of the country, have invested in farming this major cropping season, and they're having to deal with this dry spell and its impact. So all this 1.18 billion Ghana cedis is likely to go waste because, well, we didn't pay attention to weather patterns, we didn't change our ways. I'm not sure what exactly it is, but nature is clearly having a toll on us. Well, let's speak to the Bono Agriculture Director, Bono Regional Agriculture Director, Mr. Dennis Abogre Menga. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you're well.
By God's grace, I'm doing well, and thank you for having me.
Great. So first of all, I'd like to find out from you, how much of a danger does this dry spell or this drought we are experiencing in the Bono areas portend for food security in the area?
Yeah, indeed, the drought, I think, like other parts of the country, especially the northern part, has been severe in the region. But we've got some rain, or a rain the last 2-3 days. For the past 2 months, it has been very terrible and worrisome to farmers. Like the example we give from the Sunyane West, if you look at the region, over the past 40 days, until the rain that we got 2 days ago, there hasn't been rain. It was only the Sunyane area. Even the Sunyane area was better. Because within this period, we've got about 3 rainfalls. But areas like Winchip and Daimare never recorded any rainfall. The Doma area also recorded just about averagely 3 rainy days within this period.
Right.
And so the impact has been devastating throughout the region. And the effect is very visible, especially when it comes to the period. That is the maize, rice planted upland. Rice planted lowland was better because there was some moisture for them to manage, even though their yield will decline. So generally, I would say that the drought has affected crops heavily in the region, and that is slowly going to affect. In fact, the Bono region is a net exporter of staple crops. That is rice, cassava. I'm so sorry. Not rice, maize.
Right.
Rice
Maize,
was
yes.
very badly as a region. But when it comes to maize, cassava, and all the other major staple crops, we're a net exporter. And so that is going to affect food supply. As a region, yes, even though It has been very, very devastating. As a region, I want to tell you that we are not too much in the thing that individual farmers have suffered heavily and seriously, and that will affect their income and going forward what they are going to do. But going around to their social agreement of cook, that the yields will not be as expected. But there are still greens. The only difficulty on the other side is the Bono region is also known for poultry production. And the poultry farmers rely very heavily on this means that is always produced. And so that is going to affect the supply of meat to the poultry industry. But I want to believe that in terms of feeding, domestic demand, home consumption, we are not too much in danger. Thank you for now.
Right, very well. Now, even before we get into other issues, we'd like to know the nature of crops that are affected. We're seeing largely maize, but we also know that some other crops are drought resistant. So if you can give us an idea of the nature of crops that have been affected by this dry spell.
Yeah, so basically the Bono region, the main crops are maize, cassava, plantain, yam, and some other few crops.
Okay.
Fortunately, cassava is that a resilient crop. Even though the yields will be affected, it's not something we haven't gotten to the point that cassava has wilted on the field.
Okay.
Plantain, yes, will also be affected because it's also a moisture-loving crop. And with this spell, the little wind can even cause serious lodging here and there. For yam, yes. In the production practice, the farmers normally do what we call pricking out. And the pricking out is a practice where the farmer, at the point, harvest the tuber and allow the plant to grow again and produce a seed for the next season. And so with that drought, farmers were not able to do the pricking out. And those who did it surely ran the risk of losing those crops. And so for the individual crops, I think this is how it has affected farmers and farming in the region.
Now,
and for granules, surely there are others who can never harvest it again because the ground has been so dry, the leaves and all things are wicked. They feel that they have to go with tools and be digging it. And that itself is going to be a challenging exercise.
All right, sir. So have there been any efforts from probably national authorities to provide assistance and support to the farmers?
Well, currently as a company, we are running the Plan of Food Region 2.0. I know that there are aggregators on the field now providing input for the minor season that is coming on. I know there's some quantity of fertilizer for farmers. The other logistics like mechanization services, I'm not very sure about how the aggregators are working out on that. But like I said, as of yesterday and last week, I'm aware aggregators were on the ground. But the farmers themselves know what to do.
Right.
We only hope that the aggregator will continue this way and the fertilizer in the open market is available for farmers to support themselves.
Right.
We only encourage them. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
Good. we only encourage them, given the circumstances, to be very cautious about what to do. Like we were all discussing, the climate change is a reality. And we need to be very mindful in any activity we want to do. And so it starts from even the seeds that we are going to plant. Because the minor scale has already released. So it means this variety that you can harvest within a few months, 80, 90 days. And those varieties are there. And I will encourage farmers to go into that. The land preparation is something that can affect the moisture content of the soil. So we need to be very intentional with our climate smart approach to farming. Yes, people are talking of irrigation, but I don't think it is possible as a country to irrigate all farmland. It comes in to help, yes, especially in the vegetable producing areas and places where you can bank water to irrigate. But I think the biggest challenge is for us to know that there are technologies that can mitigate the effects of climate change. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Dennis Abugri Amenga is the Agricultural Director for the Bono region, and he's just been speaking to us about how widespread the situation is, the type of crops that have been affected, and of course, what assistance or advice authorities are given to the farmers at this point. But if you ask me, at this point, what the farmers actually need is both financial and technical assistance.
Yeah. Financial
because now there are loans to be repaid. And then technical because there is research, there's technology that has shown us they have seeds of improved varieties, right? So you're able to get climate tolerant, not resistant, tolerant seeds. And then you are also able to get improved varieties that probably yield faster than your traditional varieties.
Sure.
You get it? So I think this is what the Ministry for Food and Agriculture should be looking at. And all the agencies involved in agriculture should be looking at. We need to assist the farmers at this point.
And I think the farmers need to be open to change.
Yeah.
That's one thing that we deal with. A lot of people are not open to change. They prefer to dwell in their myopia, just on, how they know it is how they know it.
Yeah.
They don't want to listen to it. Like what we talked about today, this morning on our quote of the day, be able to, take advice, and see things in different ways. If we have that attitude, I think they can be, especially if they have that attitude, they can accept whatever words will come to them when it comes to, okay, you have to do it like this and not do it like that again. Because some people are very tough in here, how we know it is how we know it. My father has been farming this for a very long time, and it has fed so many generations. This is what we want to stick to. You understand?
That's fine.
You understand? So I think it's important that we all have a great attitudinal change. Yeah.
I agree. Anyway, so that was the situation in the Bono region.